T.O.
What's up? What's up, Joe?
Yo, T.O. You don't know who I know. T.O., man. Let me tell you something, my brother. Because they don't know. Every day I give them somebody new. Yesterday was Rakim. Football. The day before was Killer Mike. Day before was Bum B. They don't know who my peoples is out here.
That's what's up.
What a surprise. So, T.O., we're going to get into like the stuff me and you were talking about. But let's talk about Drew Brees.
Right.
Do you believe he's a racist or he's a patriot?
He might be a little bit of both. I think when you see and you hear a lot of these, especially the white people, they're saying that they're not racist, but then they say things and then you bring things to their attention, but that's a sign of a racist. And so with Drew, again, him being according to everybody else and him being who we know he is, he's a leader of a football team, leader of a franchise. Being that he's white, people are going to say, they assume that he's very, very smart, very articulate, business acumen, things of that nature. For him to go on and have an interview. And what I think a lot of people missed is that the guy never asked him about the flag. Number one, it was never about the flag. He asked him about players going forward. What are his thoughts about them kneeling? And if you think about 4 years ago, Colin Kaepernick's protest was about police brutality, social injustice. And even when it was unclear in the infancy stage of that, he cleared it up and let everybody know, this is why I'm taking a knee. And so for 4 to 5 years now, for him to now go in and then say, basically just really kind of ignore the question at hand and then go off on a tangent about who his grandfathers were and what they did in the World War II or what have you, as if there was only 2 people that fought in that war. We as Black people, we fought in that war as well. So again, what you saw was white privilege right in front of our faces. And again, I'm not sold on the apology, because just from a standpoint, you know what you said, you know what you did, and then you took almost like 24 hours and then you put out a PR statement that is probably drawn up by your publicist or what have you. You should have taken that same approach. Just like you did an interview, address the people immediately. But again, he took the coward way out. Even though I saw he did post a video 4 or 5 hours after the apology, the statement was out, but almost it's too little too late.
And this is the scarier part about it, is that we can have somebody who's amongst us who has these eternal thoughts. Like Drew Brees, he plays with 40 Black guys on his team every day, right? And this guy could be right next to you and you don't know how he really feel. And so like police officers, we don't know how they really feel. They say protect and serve, but this is like Russian roulette every time you get stopped, because you don't know if it's somebody who really wants to help the people or somebody who is a white supremacist or feels like we're animals.
Well, I think a lot of these policemen across the country, I think some of these guys that have enlisted, gone into law enforcement, some of these guys were guys that either weren't athletic, weren't the star of a football team, a sport, or what have you. They probably got picked on, and they enlist, and this gives them a sense of courage. That badge gave them something that they didn't grow up with, and that's a lot of courage. And so again, with the laws that protect the police, and obviously those same laws that are supposed to protect us as citizens, human beings, and Black Americans, they're failing us. And that's what needs to be changed, the laws itself. Obviously, we need to address the systemic laws, and obviously a way to find a way to change that. And I think the only way to do that, as we talked earlier, I know we can get into it. I just feel like when you think about, I've been kind of just trying to grapple everything that is transpired 10 to 11 days ago. For me personally, I've never cried for someone that I again, once I saw the video, I immediately went into tears, because for me, you see things like this happen in the movies, but you don't see these things in real life. And maybe it was a blessing in disguise that everybody was being quarantined. The COVID-19 was upon us, and everybody got to see this up close and personal. Everybody got a chance to see what it's like to be a black man in America. And even though they saw it, they still don't get it, because a lot of people feel that now we're protesting. There are people that are protesting, they're looting, they're rioting, whatever the case may be. And Martin Luther King said, a riot is the language of the unheard. And so for so many years, we've been screaming, this is what's wrong in America against people of color. 4 years, Colin protested peacefully to get the attention of America and with the league. This guy's now out of the league because of what now everybody is questioning is he did a peaceful protest. It fell on deaf ears. And so now these are some of the things that we need to address as human beings and as Americans. And the law has failed us. The very people, just as you said, the people that are in blue, they're failing us. And we're at a breaking point. To watch this guy take his last breath right before our very eyes, bro, it was sickening. It was disgusting. Man, it was hard to watch.
Yeah, and just so many different events, man. I posted a video of this older white man. He was out there protesting. He's like 76 years old, bro, and they threw him on the floor. They cracked his head.
In Buffalo,
And
yeah, I saw that.
Walking past him. Now, stuff like that lets you know they don't care if you're white or black. Like,
right.
If they disagree with you, they run it through like a Gestapo, like a gang. They'll break you and keep it moving. Now, if the cameras don't capture that.
Right.
If the cameras don't catch Big George, if it don't capture Aubrey or Eric Garner or Philando, I mean, I watched him kill the man, I believe it was in Minnesota. Philando, he worked at a school. He was compliant, and they just shot. I just don't. But the thing is, to get back to what you originally said was, imagine you could wake up every day of your life, put on a bulletproof vest, have a gun, and you know that you could beat the shit out of anybody and don't get in trouble. You can shoot somebody and don't get in trouble. And obviously, this man who killed George was looking right into the camera. He didn't have a fear in his bones that he was going to get in trouble for this. And so they filming him, and and he's like, I could care less.
Right.
So, and what's crazy is when the Attorney General announces the charges, he also says, don't get excited. You know, more than likely these guys win. Regular people like you and me, we can't win shit.
Right. And I think what needs to be addressed, and I think for especially white people and I have white friends, and I did an interview with a reporter out in LA just the other day, and it was heartfelt, and she was like, Terrell, she's like, help me understand. And that's part of the problem. If I have to tell you or I have to educate you, when you have access to books, the internet, just like I do, if I have to explain to you, especially to a white person, then that's the problem. And honestly, I think.
Hold up, Tio. To their defense, I've learned some shit in the last 11 days I never knew in my life. So maybe I'm simple-minded. I'm not a genius, right? Okay. But I just thought you got some asshole cops and you got some good cops. And then I'm realizing this is like systemic racism. So like this shit was all planned so that we could never get ahead as black and brown people. And some white people, because they're white and they never get harassed, they never get bothered, they're like, yo, what are these guys talking about? Right? And because, so to their defense, they don't really go through the shit we go through. So they don't really know.
Right,
But
because number one,
all this has been brought to the light. That's what she meant by, yo, T.O., please let me know. Let me explain it to me.
Right. Yeah, and part of that, some of that is white privilege. Some of that some of what the white privilege has been, as you again, has been placed systemically. It's been ingrained into white America that they are better than us. They're superior. Black is inferior. And so that's how a lot of people have lived their lives. When you think about it, like there's a lot of white people. I guess I can explain it like this. When has a white person ever had to walk out of their house at any given time and really fear for their lives, being pulled over, or whatever the case may be? I have kids. I've had this. I mean, this has touched me to a degree that I've had to call my kids and have this conversation with them. I have two daughters that are 15, and I know that my daughter is on the cusp of driving. I have a son that's 20. He's already driving. Joe, you have to understand, you've seen cops pulling over black people.
Oh, man, you can forget about it. I've been pulled over 10,000 times. I'll tell you one thing. I live in Miami, and I gave my guns back. I sold my guns back. So the whole thing is Second Amendment. Yo, you got the right to own the guns. But when they start killing people, like Philando, he had a gun permit, and they just killed him. I'm saying, you know what? Even though I don't smoke, I come home every night from the studio. Everybody's smoking weed around me. How am I going to tell this guy, white supremacist cop stops me? How am I going to tell this guy, yo, I have a legal gun on me? He might just kill me and say, yo, he got a gun on. Because it seems like the only way out, when we hear a lady got murdered, and happy birthday, Breonna Taylor, God bless you. Lady got murdered. Man got murdered. And then right behind it says he wasn't armed. She wasn't armed. He wasn't armed. He wasn't. Fuck, Fat Joe's armed. 2 in the morning smelling like weed. He got empty the clip on me. You're
in a lose-lose situation in that situation. And so back to just to elaborate what I was saying, like I said, my kids, like I said, one's driving already. He's on, my other's on the cusp of driving. Dude, they're one, as you said, that's going up to a car at nighttime or whenever you're being pulled over. So now, being that we've had a couple of people, black guys being killed in broad daylight, so it really doesn't matter at this point. It's almost like it's open season on people of color. So it's almost like, okay, we don't really care. And I think the idiot that's in the White House has given them the license to not care or do so. So when you think about your kids being out there and they have, they're going to be around, friends or what have you that may be getting into trouble, whatever the case may be, my kids, like I said, they get pulled over. They're one mistake from being shot, one miscommunication, one mishap. Anything can happen. And as we've seen with these two incidents being filmed, just think about the ones that haven't been filmed. The world is in an uproar.
Fat Joe has got his ass whipped by cops about 100 times in the South Bronx. Bust my ass. Black eyes, lips for no reason. I had cops pull me over, and I had a pretty girl sitting next to me, and they search her. I know you got the gun. They groping her. All type of violating shit has happened to me.
Because they got that badge. And those are some of the things that needs to be addressed. There needs to be a defunding of police funds. That honestly, that needs to happen in order for us to have any change. But I think most of all, we have to vote for, especially us as African Americans, black people. We have to vote. That if it hasn't rung any louder, it should ring loud and clear right now. Because
I don't even think we even need to say that shit. We just gotta go. Like
Exactly. So
at this point, it's like, yo,
for
you
all
gotta
these people
go.
that are riding, so for all these people that are riding for Black Lives Matter right now, that's white, black, whatever their color is. You're old enough to vote. You know what's going to push those changes is electing and voting for the people to push these changes through. That's going to be advantageous to the people of color. That's the
And
first order of business.
that's locally and nationally.
Right,
We
absolutely.
gotta
Because
get
right,
rid of this
every
guy.
state is
He got
every
to
state
go.
is different. Every state is
He
different. You
got to
got to
go.
start with your
Trump got to
governors.
go.
Right, you got to start with your governors, your mayors. Those mayors then they appoint the chief of police for your city. That's where the change has to start. And then again, better training for these police officers. They got to do some background checks on these guys. There has to be some consequences to their actions. I think, like I said, if we get to a law to where these guys are killing people unlawfully, wrongfully, then I wouldn't mind
Yo,
putting
bro, let me
putting
tell you
putting a
one of
law
the
in place.
Yo,
I
let
mean,
me tell you one of the laws they passed today in Minnesota that the governor of New York is looking to pass. They have to pass a law. This has to be law. Have to pass a law for you to be a cop, and if you see another cop doing wrong, so you could tap him and say, "Yo, bro, you're doing too much."
right, you're going too far.
But they're passing a law. Shouldn't human beings stop another dude? Like if you know, yo, this guy got his knee. If
Right, but
it's
they're fearing
like they have
again.
to pass a law
I know, but
for
they're
a man
fear.
to say, yo, you bugging out.
Right, yeah, and that's the thing. Like if you watch the video, bro, they're vehemently, they're adamantly screaming to whatever Tao Tua, whatever his name is. They're screaming to him like, bro, do something. And as soon as these guys were at least made an inch or two toward, he's grabbing toward his gun, his mace, or whatever. They're fearing for their lives now. So again, I'm sure hindsight is 2020. I'm sure those people that filmed it, knowing the outcome, I guarantee you they probably like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go, just to distract or try to do something, just so this guy can get his knee off this guy's neck. But now, like I said, they're gonna be convicted too, and I hope to the fullest extent of the law. To sit up there and watch a man die, I mean, you have no compassion for mankind. You can't consider yourself an American to sit there and watch another human being kill another man.
Yeah, pretty much it's a crime. You black, you're a criminal. You're an animal. It's a crime.
Right.
You know, think less than you. And sometimes, when they grab the wrong black guy who actually knows his rights, so maybe he's even a bigger cop than them, that's the only time they go, oh, but nah, you was thinking I was just a black animal or something. Like you was just frisking me like I'm an animal. And so the major thing is, I don't know, I don't want to curse, but I don't know what the fuck they do to these cops, Spanish and black, that they take Spanish and black people and brainwash them when they become cops to say, we're cops, fuck
Civilians. Right.
that pay our fucking bills.
Hey,
It's
but
us
again,
against them.
and again, that's that's one of the things that I mentioned to you earlier. You have to somehow put people in place to now defund the police, defund the police fund, however the case, whatever the case, and however they need to do it, redirect some of those funds to some other means of need. Because right now, just as these laws that are supposed to protect us as human beings, American citizens, and even as black people, these police cops, they're failing us. They're failing us to a great degree. And I think that's what needs to be addressed. And to your point of what we talked about earlier, I think how that needs to happen and how our voices feel like we need to be heard and should be heard. We as athletes, entertainers, if you think about what brings all races together, because I've heard everybody like, oh, all lives matter, this and that and the other. And it's not that when we're shouting or we're hashtagging Black Lives Matter, we're not excluding.
No, T.O. All lives does matter.
No.
Right
That's
now, Black lives matter. Right now,
right.
This is the subject.
Right. Yeah.
We're in college, and this is the fucking subject right now.
Right.
Black
Yeah.
lives
You're right.
matter.
Right. Well, you
We
basically
love
you finished what I was
if
you finished what I was
I
going
see
to say.
a white lady getting jump on the corner, I'm gonna jump out the car for the lady. I'm gonna help her. It's you know, all lives do matter, but right now this is
right.
Black
Right now
Lives
we are
Matter
addressing
subject.
we are addressing what's relevant right now. Have you seen a white person get killed on camera like we have? I haven't.
No.
And for the white people that are watching, this is why we're protesting. Granted, you can say, yeah, white people are getting killed, but we're not seeing it. Not in the manner in which these two men have gotten killed as of recently, Ahmaud and George. Nobody's heard about that. So this is what we're protesting. And I think when you think about what brings all races together, to finish my point, that's music and sports. And we all have to figure out a way to get on the same page, however that may be, whether it's live like this, whether it's connecting, each other on a group text or emails or whatever. We have to find some point people to basically, like Killer Mike said, we have to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and then once that is in place, be ready to mobilize. That's what
I think we
need.
all ready for it, man. I think we all ready for it. And we need to push it, and we need to talk to more of our friends to see, you know, what type of moves we're going to make. Shout out to DJ Envy. He's on the check-in. I miss you, my brother. I haven't spoken to you in a second. You know I love you, Envy. And so you say to yourself, let me ask you something. Do you believe that the NFL was making honest steps forward in to understanding Black Lives Matter and equality? Because this has been like a real big problem. I think the NFL has brought the most consciousness, you know, to what's going on right now. As far as, shout out Dwight Howard, Laker, you know, as far as the disparities and not enough black coaches, no black owners, no. And I seen the commissioner a little while ago. He gave a little PSA talking about Black Lives Matter. They understand now. What do you think, T.O.?
Why all of a sudden now you understand? Why? Because the world is in an uproar because of the very thing that Colin tried to peacefully gesture and do with his protest with the kneeling. He gave you guys a heads up 4 years ago. It fell on deaf ears. Now all of a sudden there's a lot of hypocrisy. Now there's a lot of blanket statements about them wanting to support the cause and this and that and the other. Trump has basically, when Colin kneeled, he basically instilled fear and basically kind of ordered the league to suspend him, and then they turned around and instilled fear in the very players that were in support of him, because at one point a lot of guys were in support of him, and then you had owners that were coming out like Jerry Jones that is obviously sounding very hypocritical now, that saying that now Black Lives Matter, when police brutality and social injustice was the very reason that he kneeled. But they instill fear in these guys of their jobs, because they were like, oh, well, if you do this, you protest, you kneel, then you can't play. Or they set a precedent with Trump coming out saying, oh, these are thugs, these guys are sons of bitches. Now this guy doesn't have a job, and he very well could be in the league right now, but because of his stance and where we are right now as a country, he basically set it on a silver platter for everybody, and now it's come full circle. So I don't believe now they want to say, oh, well, let us do this. We want to do this. It's almost like too little too late, but I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. We need to change it for ourselves. I'm not going to allow, I think that they're going to do it. They can say all day long that they're going to do X, Y, Z. But if we as people of color don't take matters into our own hands, then it's not going to change. It's basically they're going to let it die down, and then it's going to be what? You're going to wait till another person get killed. And honestly, quite frankly, especially we as athletes, you in the industry, Joe, we need to make it happen now, because it's on at the rate that we're getting killed, black people, it's a matter of time before one of these NBA players, these NFL players, or somebody high profile in the industry, before it happens to them or somebody in their family. And then that's when everybody really gonna get irate. We don't need to get it to that point. We don't need to wait till that happens. We need to do it now. But as we started with, and we alluded to earlier, we gotta vote. That's where it's gonna start, voting.
I don't want to have to ask you who you plan on voting for. We got Biden, we got Trump.
If I had to choose, I'm going Biden. Why would I? Why would nothing good has come out of this guy being in the White House? And everybody want to say, oh, well, unemployment is down. He's done so much for Black Americans. Okay, that's what he's supposed to do. You think, okay, for me, okay, you've thrown us a bone. You think that's supposed to make us happy? What about our equality? What about the justice system? What about the criminal system?
He's been the most divisive president ever. I mean, whether
no doubt.
Bush was good enough,
anybody on the ballot aside from Trump, I would vote for. Joe, if you was on there, and I know you politics ain't your thing, I'm voting for you, Joe.
Yeah, I get it. That's how I feel.
And the thing is, and I know a lot of people are saying that Joe Biden's incompetent. You know, they're saying he's kind of a little early stages of dementia, this and that and the other. But as a president, that's why he has people under him that he delegates to help him through every process of his presidency. That's why he has a vice president. They have a chief of staff, press secretary. They have all of those things in place to help him. If you notice, Donald Trump has access to the same thing. If you notice, everybody that was in the White House, he's fired, or gotten rid of, or they even resigned because they knew he was an idiot.
Yeah, man fucked up Atlantic City. You know, there ain't a place he done went through that he ain't fuck up. Like, it's a no-brainer for me, but it gets scary to me when I see it. Matter of fact, I'm talking to Diddy after I get off the live, and
okay,
it's scary because Diddy like talking about, yo, we got to get, the black vote ain't for free, that this. And I had Charlemagne up here. He talking that same shit. And I'm just like, yo, look, guys. Us as black and brown people, you can't give us a chance to not go wait online for 6-7 hours. We don't really want to go wait on that line. So we need everybody to be in unity, to be like, yo, anybody against this guy. Because this country can't take it no more. It's obvious that this country's divided now.
Right. But it can be brought together. But again, we're powerful, and I think that's what's going to be able to push the change, is that we have to unite across those fronts that I mentioned, because there are so many powerful voices, in sports and music that can make a difference, that has made a difference. You think about the Jay-Z's, the Snoops, the Fat Joes of the world, the Jamie Foxxes. You got to think about everybody in the National Football League. It's 70+% minorities that make up the NFL. You think about the guys that have powerful voices in the NBA. This is where we have to understand the power and the leverage that we have, and we have to keep hammering home that message. But again, like I said, the first thing, order of business, again, like I said, we have to put people in the positions of power in order to get these laws changed.
Yeah, we got to change these laws, T.O. Like that at the end of the day is now or never. We cannot let these people back out. We cannot, or if not, it would be in vain. We have to change these laws, not just what these governors are talking about. More power to you. We need transparency. We need independent people to come in, because you can't really seriously think that a district attorney who eats dinner every night with police officers and hangs out with them every day is going to try to convict these guys. They're not. So we need independent attorney generals or independent civilian board, something to oversee whenever these police officers get locked up. Because, man, I don't know a person on earth who's like 101. These guys kill thousands of people and never get convicted. Sometimes never even locked up.
Right, and that's the thing though. These laws are hundreds and hundreds of years old. They have not been changed. They need to be. They just period. They need to be changed. It's just like the music business, Joe. Music is not the same as it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, is it?
No.
Look at how football is being played. Football has changed. It's been around 101 years now. Football is not the same as it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. It should follow the same protocol. These laws that have been put in place, they need to change as well. They have to change with the times. The laws that are in place now, Joe, they're in there from years past. They're basically obsolete. They need to be updated. And the people that
basically,
are in office,
we're talking about. If you get to the root of the whole problem, you're talking about we singing national anthems, and I'm a proud American, and I've been around the whole world. I'd rather be in America than anywhere else. So let's be clear, I'm proud to be an American.
right?
But when you start getting to the root of the national anthem and what they actually singing about.
Oh yeah, it's some racist stuff.
Slave masters wrote it.
Exactly.
These laws, they was like, all right, we're gonna let the blacks be free, but we're gonna set up some laws that these motherfuckers ain't never coming up.
Right. But again,
right?
But then you don't want to get in that situation like Drew Brees. It's not about the national anthem. You don't want to put, it's not what it's about. I get it where you're coming from. It touches on that, but you don't want to lose sight of what the initial issue is, and that's brutality, police brutality, social injustice. Yeah, trust me, all the things, yeah, there are some antennas to everything, but the main issue right now is preserving the black race, preserving what we have worked hard for, and under the laws of the Constitution, and what America is about is the land, being the land of the free, being created equal. You know what I mean? Just equality and the same justice as a white man. That's not being afforded. That's not being afforded to us.
Shout out to my girl, my home girl. I like her. Her name is Amara La Negra, right? That's her name. As Amara La Negra.
Amala, what's up?
And 2 days ago, she posted like around 6 pictures of slavery. I mean, this shit really happened, T.O. Like, bro, I know we haven't seen it in our lifetime, but it really happened. And like, so she's showing chains around the necks and people getting a hang, and hundreds of white people just looking there smiling like that was Friday night at the movies, or burning people or whipping them. And the reason I'm saying that, right, is because that really happened. And I really love white people. I really have best friends that are white people. Same here. I never judged them. I never one time looked at what my white friend and said, is his great-grandfather a slave owner? Was he? No, I love you for who you are as a person. You love me. You show me respect, my family respect. Same thing to you. But I can't see why certain white people can't get over that time and look like, you know, like right now I'm looking at a little girl protesting. A white dude jumps off his bike. I know you've seen it on TV today. Ripping up the Black Lives Matter poster. This, what's his problem? Right, like, yeah. What's this? The little girl's protesting. What's his problem? Like, what? Why does he have a problem?
Again, what I mentioned to you earlier, it's been ingrained within the system that white people are superior to us, that we are beneath them. And until things change, they're always gonna think that way. Are we gonna change it 100% to where there's no racism? Absolutely not. It is what it is. You can't change everybody, but again, it goes back to, like I said, we have to revise these laws that has been in place for hundreds and hundreds of years. Maybe these people in office, maybe they're too lazy and they don't want to rewrite the laws. Maybe that's something that we need to emphasize, because whomever wrote the laws back then, whatever, however they need to be rewritten, revised, that's what needs to be that's what needs to happen right now.
Man, let me tell you something, man. T.O., I appreciate you for coming on. We stay in touch, and we're gonna get together. You know,
no doubt.
We got we're small voices, but we got us as a sorority, as a people coming together. We got the biggest voice. So that's what you see
Right.
when you see them out there protesting. These are all people who their families even been hurt, brutalized, went to jail for no reason, got beat up on the side of a highway, got a this and that. And they all coming together and they're making one large voice now.
Right.
But all these people, if you took them one-on-one by the side, they'll tell you how their husband got locked up for no reason. They'll tell you how they got smacked by a cop. They'll tell you how, their kids, are getting harassed or whatever the case may be. So everybody comes together and like a megaphone, everybody speaking on the same terms. And that's the loud voice. And that's what me and you need to do. Like we said, Dwight Howard, we get Jay-Z, we get everybody. It don't matter.
Yeah, everybody
together to make this change really, really, really happen. I appreciate you for coming on the show, T.O. I love you, my brother, and I'll keep in touch, all right?
No doubt, man. I'm always, like I said, trying to fight the fight, man. Like I said, this is something that has touched me, man. I mean, I get emotional just, the last 10, 11 days, just watching it from day one. And then it made me reflect too, just when I was growing up, listening to my grandmother when I was, 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age, listening to her tell me how her mom and dad grew up, having to go to different separate water fountains, how segregated it was, just to hear her talk about some of the things the harsh things that they had to go through, picking cotton, things of that nature, in the hot sun, bro. This situation, this incident, man, it really did something to me. So that's why I was glad to come on this show. I know we've come across each other several times, but obviously this is on a whole nother different level. And I'm hoping that obviously our voices can obviously be a part of the change. Obviously there are some other people that I know that you've talked to, I've talked to. We're trying to bring some call to action. We're trying to get everybody on the same page. And as you said, be in unison and be able to, recite and spell out the same message.
I'm with you, my brother. God bless you, man. Thank you for coming on.
No doubt, bro. Anytime.
Okay, peace.